what I think is a brilliant part about architecture is that with a small intervention, and it doesn't need to be a multi-million-dollar development, it can just be a toilet block, but a functional toilet block. One that works well can change the way people perceive space around them. My name is Andy Mero. I studied building design, architectural at Wodonga TAFE. Since then I've gone on to pass through university doing architecture and have moved on to running my own business. It was always a desire of mine to enter into architecture from an early stage at high school. I got caught up in the Falls Creek skiing scene, so it took me sort of 20 years to wake up to the fact that maybe I should get back to school and learn something useful other than skiing. Based on my experience that I had at TAFE when I did the Revit course, I did question whether or not Wodonga would be able to sort of facilitate what I needed, whether it would be paralleled with going to uni from an architectural point of view. But after doing the Revit course, I could see that the staff were more than capable and there was a really good system in place. So I was happy to give it a go. And when I sat down for my first interview, I met with all of the other teachers and felt that there was a really good cross-section of abilities that they had, but also they were very diverse. They'd all come from different aspects. Some were still working in the job, some had been teaching, but in different states. What I found Wodonga TAFE was able to offer that I didn't get at university, which was really important, was actually real-life working projects, but from a construction point of view. Architecture, sometimes it is very airy-fairy quite often, whereas building design is the nuts and bolts of construction. And I think a lot of guys leave uni and they actually find themselves wanting most to learn about construction methods, materials, council requirements, the BCA requirements, all of those things. And TAFE is very specific about those things. The highlight that I found with TAFE was actually the tutors. Had a really good connection with those guys, and like I said before, they're from a real cross-section of the community. I found their skill sets were real world based, and I felt that, again, being able to compare it with what I found at university, they lived in a very real world of construction, and it's not always that ideal image being transported from a paper or a concept into this beautiful building on the hill. There's a lot of red tape that you need to go through to make that happen, and TAFE tutors were very upfront about it, and that was really my highlight, was working with those kind of people. So the major part of the outcome of the process that I went through, first of all, TAFE gave me a really good grounding as far as, like I said before, with real life projects and how it actually happens in the real world, which is really important, which I didn't get at university. University taught me to think outside the box, which again was an extraordinary experience. I highly recommend for anyone to go on from TAFE to lead into university. But how that transpired was that I came out confident enough to start my own business and enter into work agreements straight away. And yeah, where I am today, still working at it, still building.